In this video, you're going to watch me trade live and earn $9,381 day trading in the stock market in real time from start to finish. I took 2 trades today. The first one was a small little win, and the second one was a very significant win. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to walk you through exactly how it happened. You're going to see me making the decisions in real time and executing the 5-step emotionless trading system that I use every single day. Now, I'll be honest with you, today was a little bit more complicated. Finding the entries, the times in which I actually hit the buy button was a little bit more challenging today. It wasn't incredibly obvious and easy. I had to be patient. I had to let price action show its hand, and I had to work for the setup. And that's the whole point. You're going to see exactly how I find high probability setups, how I read price action, how I time my entries, and most importantly, how I manage risk and stay emotionally neutral so that I'm not doing something stupid when the market gets choppy. Okay, this is basically what I do with my clients every single day, live on Zoom, trading live. And the full session that you're about to watch is about 1 hour. So if you want to actually learn how this works, don't skip around. Watch it like a training. And if after you watch this, you want to apply to work closely with me and my team, there's a link in the description. You can go ahead and click that link, fill out a quick application, and we'll see if you're a fit. All right, let's get right into the live trading session. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good morning. How we doing? Jerry, good morning. What's going on, man?
Andy, good morning, brother.
All right, let me just get us started real quick.
On stocks, positions, or trades.
Oh.
Please note, the trades made and positions taken during this demonstration are not investment advice, and we make no recommendation that you should make trades similar to those you will see here. Specific trades and positions are dependent on many factors, such as your experience and sophistication, your risk tolerance, your ability to withstand the loss of all of your capital, and your investment objectives. It is likely, if not certain, that these factors will determine that the trades you see in this demonstration are not suitable for you. Greystone Trading LLC is not an investment advisor and is providing you no investment advice or recommendations on stocks, positions, or trades.
All righty. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a great week, great start to your Thursday morning. Hope we're ready to rock and roll here and keep this train moving. It's been a good week. It's been an exciting week. I think we had a bit of a more challenging time initially with this volatility. And just, we can talk more about that maybe after trading, but we've been able to catch amazing moves. I think it maybe took us 1 day to adjust or so, or at least for me, just speaking for myself. I think it took, around 1 day to adjust, and it's been a great week since then. And let's just focus on the inputs. That's all we always do. Focus on the things that are within our control, and the rest takes care of itself, right? Really, the only thing that we need to put our time and energy into is when to press the buy button. The rest of the system takes care of the rest. There's some nuance there, but that's really the one thing we need to do is when to press buy, right? Which is a great thing. So let's see when the opportunity presents itself today. What I have thus far is pre-market low, and I'm going to adjust that slightly up to 681.57. We have this very important resistance level from yesterday at 683.22. I believe that is setting up nicely for a hybrid level, as it is in between the pre-market low down there, as well as the resistance level that was used as support many times throughout pre-market. That we could potentially be a little bit more precise. I like where it's at, but I am going to drop it down momentarily to 684.29. So let's see. Scott said, "How's Mike doing, Andy? Thanks for asking." Scott, so my brother, for those that don't know, served in the IDF, the Israeli Army and Special Forces combat in his active duty for about 4 years. And then after October 7th, went back in for about 6 months. And he just got called back to go into Lebanon. So he was there this morning, or excuse me, yesterday morning, but I think he ended up sleeping at home last night. They were just getting their gear ready and things like that. So, I, as of now, I believe he's still home and kind of expecting to go in the next couple days. So we're praying for him. What do you guys think here about taking this for a draw up to this high?
I like it.
Yeah.
I have a little bit lower of a level of resistance. I marked 683.74 and I was reading through so if you look at the red candle at 750, it tests it, rejects it. Green candle in pre-market almost goes through it, and then red candle flushes through it, and then these several candles between 805 and 825 test that resistance again, and then it comes up above it, closes below it, violently comes down, and then this big powerhouse of a candle at 930 goes above it. So I'm reading that. I'm kind of ignoring the opening candles.
Got it.
That's just kind of my
Yeah.
way of reading it. But I'm not in this right now. But I definitely like that lower level a bit.
Yeah, I stayed away there. I think we
Mhm.
do have, the way I'm reading this, high probability to come up to here, but I think the big draw is a breach of what we see throughout here, on the 935 candle as well, up to at least these highs. And I just think,
Mhm.
with all the room we've been creating for ourselves all week, this is one of the smallest draws we've seen
Yeah,
Yeah.
and would be able to play. Though I see it, I think we will have plenty of opportunity, higher probability for real follow through today.
There was
yeah,
a liquidity sweep of 684.21 off that second candle. Um, what I see, if it pushes through that, it will go at least until 685.21,
Mhm.
or higher. But it would have to push through that. I think there's a high probability it will, but it also could run into that. And I think um, we'll find probably a little bit cleaner entry, and we'd have to push through that level to, I think, to go risk free. So I think it would have been a good setup, but I think a better one will present.
Yep.
yeah. The biggest reason I'm not in it more than anything is not that I don't love the setup. I just don't love the draw on it. I feel
Yeah.
like it's got all the potential in the world. I just don't think we'll get that. I don't think we'll even get close to 10% exit on it on that first piece, and just wait for that really good one.
Yeah.
But it's been a heck of a week,
I
man.
think
Holy smokes. Ryan's been on fire too.
I
Holy
would
shit.
I would love a close just above that 684.21. And then I do think we have a dollar draw up
Hmm.
minimum.
Yeah,
I
I
like
love it
pre-market
too because
ranges
that.
like this. I like when
Mhm.
you have like this big pre-market range because it looks, like we're fighting this downward trend, but I think that it just provides some really clear recent levels from pre-market. There's that reaction right there.
Yeah, and what we love about this is we got 2.5 minutes left. If this were the final 30 seconds and it was our first attempt of these highs, whether you have that 684.21 or 29, whatever you have in that region, it's more challenging when it's in that final bit. But we have plenty of time left here. And we're interacting with these highs that you can see clearly on the 1 minute. We'll see what we have in store. It obviously looks incredibly strong at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up calls, have them ready to go. Those are going to be the 689 calls for March 6th. So once again, those are the March 6th, 689 calls. All right, those contracts are priced around 160, 161. Let's see what this last minute offers for us. I'd love a nice discount on price. Something around here would be more ideal, but this checks the boxes regardless. Final 30 seconds. March 6th, 689 calls. Looking for a firm close above 684.29 in order to take entry here. Final 6, final 5. And buying here. Filled at 163. No stop for the moment. Stop, no stop. Looking for 175 to 177. There we go, just a little bit more. Few more cents and I'll go risk free here, team. Something around 685.50 should offer that for us. Looking for 175, 176. And taking half off here, team. I got 174. And stop is immediately in at break even here. And I'm stopped there.
Oh man. Yeah, looking back at that, Andy, I think you asked me like right before that candle closed about that lower level, and I think I talked right through that candle closing and possibly screwed that entry up for everyone. So
No,
my apologies on that, guys.
no, no, no. Were you guys able to execute on that?
Yeah, I didn't get a
Yeah.
great. I got a really good entry fill at 162. I did not get a good exit on the way out. You said you got 174. I pressed the sell button at 173 and I got filled at 170 on my way out. So, I mean,
Wow.
it's what it is.
Yeah.
I had the same exit, but a little worse fill than you, Andy. But I sold the exact same time on the first half.
Yeah, I think we may have gotten like the
Yeah.
best possible sell there. I mean, maybe it went there a couple times, but I think it seemed to me like within 6 seconds of selling, it was down 7-8% from the sell. Let's see here. I don't think there should be anything stopping it through here.
I think if it closes above, yeah, I agree. I think it might have some work to get up to 685.75, but if it closes above, it's going for a pre-market high. Like in my mind, no question.
Where are you saying it needs to close above, Ryan?
685.75.
Yep. I was kind of anticipating that it was going to come up to that level on this jolt here. Those are two big powerhouses of a green candle. There should be a lot of momentum to push it up. But the story of SPY the last few weeks.
All right, I like this. Let's see if it reacts to these highs or even the 29 or the 21 that you have, Ryan, something around here. If this could now use this as support and turn into a very weak red candle, I wouldn't even need for it to flip green if it can just show that it's holding on and showing lots of strength. I mean, perfectly off of these previous highs. I would look to take reentry. So I'm going to have the same calls pulled up. It needs to be a very firm and clear reaction, right? It can't be something that closes right around here. We've got to eat back a lot of this. But I am going to have the contracts ready. Those are the 689 calls for March 6th. And so and I don't have my strength indicator, but something around 75, 684, 75 is what I would need. And I'm going to actually say even a little bit above that, 81, and it doesn't look like we're going to get it. And the reason I say a little bit above that is to reclaim these wicks here. Really just turning into a weak candle, which obviously it's not going to do. I'm going to modify this down. I think you had 21, Ryan.
Yep.
I'm gonna drop this right at 19, which perfectly coincides with this high, nearly this high as well. And so this could set up really nicely for puts, but it's moving quickly, reacting nicely. Let's see what sort of action we get in the next couple minutes, and that should give us some more clarity. Right, if it holds on here, it's holding on to that structure and likely to seek higher highs, or at least attempt them. But a breach of this level here, in my mind, breaks that structure, and a firm close below the 684.19 or 21, whatever you may have, that reflects this key level here, confirms more downward movement to me. That makes sense.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about a firm close just above 684.48 for calls?
684.48. It's interesting you say that. I have 45 marked to go back into calls, which is the bottom of the swing point. So your level and my level is one of the same. We're off by a couple of points there. And it's probably just my iPad not being as precise as your monitor, bud.
Yeah, I'm gonna mark that wick at 45. So
Yeah, that's what I had marked. So I think I think Ryan's level might be a little bit better now that I'm looking at it closely.
Yeah, it's just more interaction on those pre-market bodies, but I think either level will do it.
yeah.
I almost would say any green candle, but this is looking weak now. But I have a feeling this is going to turn green. Non-biased, but I have a feeling. It's the market structure, right? Just like Andy pointed out.
Sure.
And if it doesn't, then it's broken structure.
Yeah, Ryan, I think you said, what'd you say you had 43 marked?
48.
48. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't imagine like a couple of pennies changing that for an entry here.
I almost feel like any firm green candle, even if it's like below those low, but again, we haven't seen it test that, so I'd like to see a confirmation of
And guys, this is a little this isn't the most obvious thing in the world. So let's try to kind of explain what we're seeing here. And the reason why I say it's not the cleanest thing in the world is because we're not prioritizing the most recent action that we have aside from this one wick, right? We don't have multiple touches in real time here. But what we do have is this flurry of touches here, as well as a touch here. And we are prioritizing real-time action in terms of the overall read on price action, right? And can you see how if we were able to hold on to this previous high and use it as a level of support and close above this level, that's the top of this wick, that's, gives us these many uses of support here, why it would be confirming the bullish structure, and that we would continue to seek higher price action if we were to get that close above. All right, obviously we haven't, and I'm going to mark this here. I'm gonna have puts ready to go. 676 puts. And I wasn't ready to do it until we came back and attempted to hold on as we are now at the 683.22. And so if we close below it, I'll take the entry on puts. And you guys may, and some people may have taken it just on the firm candle, which I don't think would be a bad entry. But I did have this level. This is sort of my hybrid level at 683.22, which was this incredibly important, like the defining level from yesterday that offered the awesome entry here. And so because we came down, even though we got that firm close below our 684.19, we interacted with it very clearly and we said, no, not yet. And when we were down here, I wasn't pulling up those puts because we had eaten up a lot of the draw. I'm identifying this next potential level that we would react to. And we didn't have a whole lot. But once we came back up and confirmed that that this level is significant, right? To the point where if we do close below it, we are confirming that we're seeking lower action, then awesome. And it would really offer that conviction. Very interesting here. Came up exactly to these highs, to the penny, exactly right there. Jake said, would another thing to look at or consider be that after the low of pre-market, we've progressively seen higher highs and higher lows? Are you just saying overall after making this low right here, we made a higher high compared to here, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, overall, I do think more broadly, you're right. We haven't made lower lows yet. We were in a unique position um, to still hold that broader structure while still getting drawdown to the next key levels. Um, so yeah, that is a good point.
Hmm.
All right, so we've slowed down a decent bit here, and it's a time to be patient and let this really tip its hand. I still like this 684.45 for calls. And I still like below 683.22 for puts. And I think you could even make the argument and be more assertive above 684 and 19 or 20. But I want to take out this wick. but respecting these levels and defining them clearly for us, right? Before we, like I mentioned, the thesis we were developing, we didn't have all of these real-time touches. We were relying certainly on our read of current action, but the levels were by and large coming from pre-market. And so now we're getting these levels defined in real time for us, this double use of support at 683.22, which confirms that ever so important resistance level from yesterday. And let's have calls ready here. I'm going to have the 688 calls, and no entry, but it did seem like it was getting close there. So I wanted to pull those up. Not the cleanest thing in the world. And you can see how our, just focus on reading the action has protected us from what you could, perceive as being pretty choppy here. I mean, there was nothing that you could have taken that would have worked out other than the one move that we took, which did get a solid move. It only lasted about 60 seconds before retracing. But aside from this entry, there hasn't been anything. This still held on to these previous highs before flushing, held on to the next key level, got a double use of support there. And so we've just been resetting a little bit. There we go. Very clean test of 683.22. That's the third consecutive candle, as well as this wick here, 805, 825, 830. And like I've mentioned, most importantly, this incredibly clean. This is like one of the best teaching examples of resistance in my mind, this from yesterday. Right, and then look at this candle close right below it, and then this big distribution candle. And even though it was massive distribution, it continued to just follow through beautifully and beautifully. So I love that 683.22. It has been fruitful for us as of late. And I'm going to look for entry on puts, assuming we get a firm close below that doesn't eat up the vast majority of what we have here, or reacts to down here and says not quite yet. So let's see, just shy of 2 minutes. Just shy of 2 minutes. And we'll have to, use the real-time data that we get to ultimately make that decision. Reacting to these lows. Right where this previous wick is. And a clean reaction at that. So now we've traded somewhat, deeply below and trading back above, getting that nice confirmation with 1:13 left. It's exactly what we like to see. 676 puts from March 6th. They're pulled up and ready to go. Let's see if we get this close. Setting up very nicely. Final 50 seconds. Let's see what these final 50 seconds do for us. Final 15. 676 puts. Price at 5 seconds. Price at, what do you guys see him priced at? I'm buying here.
62.
Yeah.
Yeah. Filled at 164. Set mine glitch for a second. We're showing like 140. No stop just yet. Let's see. And I'm going to give this a second, see if it wants to flush. Taking half off here.
Moon.
Filled at 175. I saw 176, but didn't get it. Stop is in at break even. Stop is in. All right, I wanted to time that out with that test of that next level. And I gave it a second or so to see if we wanted to flush. Still alive for the moment. Come on. Still alive, but stop is in. Let's take out those lows. Come on.
Go.
Mhm.
Another test here. Let's see if we can breach this. I'm going to be looking for 183, 184, or the bottom of this wick, whichever comes first. And taking a
Yes.
quarter here, filled at 186. There we go.
Nice.
Yes.
Well
There
done.
she is. And I'm going to put my stop in right now at 172. Stop at 180. Let's see that low of day test. Stop is in place at 180, giving us about 10 cents. Come on now. Still alive for the moment. I'm going to put this back a few cents to 176. There we go. Testing that low. Contracts at $2, 202. Moving my stop here to 185. Stop to 190, team.
Whew.
I'd love a 1 minute candle close below this. Stop to 195, team.
Let's go.
Good trade, bro. Oh man.
Stop the $2 team. Contracts at 217, 218, 219, 220. Contracts at 222. Stop is in at 205. About 10 cents below from where we are right now. Trailing those puts are always challenging. Let's see if we can stay alive. That is
Beautiful
a
move. Let's go. Way to go, Andy. Oh, fantastic.
Let's see. It was a really nice setup, right? At the end of the day, like we knew we kind of had to go risk-free here. And then the rest was gravy if we wanted to take out that low of day. And fortunately we did, but that was outside of our control. We just managed risk appropriately. And I'm just a couple cents away from stop here. And I'm stopped.
Well done.
Boom.
Man, what
Thank
a
you.
week. Holy shit.
Yeah.
How'd you guys do on that one?
Fantastic.
Yeah, really good.
I see some of you guys got stopped at break even. I thought I got a bad fill. The truth, I was kind of late, and my Webull glitch, I was showing like 140, even though the option chain was showing me in the 160s. So I thought I got a bad fill because I was seeing like I think it was something like 161, 162 at the candle close. What'd you guys get on the buy?
Let me just double check for you.
Because I got 164. And guys, look at this perfect reaction on that retest and now holding. So
I got filled at 166 at a really not great, which was weird because it which is, I mean, it's what it is.
I got 162, but I don't know that the timing seemed different than yours, Andy, somehow, but I might have
It
tapped
did.
it a little early. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a gremlin inside my Weeble. It's been terrible for me for a week.
oh, look at this perfect retime. Did anyone see what the low was when it retraced back there?
I re-entered
this
on
is where
different
I want to
contracts below the
implement.
pre-market low.
What'd you say, Jerry?
I said I re-entered another thing. I had trailers going on and I re-entered with a small position below pre-market low. I mean, that's just our classic breakout structure. So
You took puts here.
yeah, I'm in puts right now.
Stud.
I re-entered below that pre-market low, and I was in trailers on different contracts. It was a little hectic. Still
Stud.
Andy, those contracts hit 201. So
Okay.
it wasn't
All right.
too
Yeah.
far off. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Lots of you guys did that.
Yep.
Well done, guys. Love that.
And I took the 673s on the last one. I got filled at 150 on them, and I just took half at 161. So I'm risk free on the second trade as well. I mean, your entry was just gorgeous on those puts, and then when it just took out the pre-market low, I'm like, well, that's our classic textbook A plus all day long.
Yeah.
It's just classic textbook all day long.
I was
Greystone setup.
I was
I mean,
enamored with this. I just yeah, no, you're absolutely or what? Yeah, I mean, I was still in trail. No, where was the close? It closed here. So yeah, I was still in trailers, I guess.
Mhm.
And so I didn't even think of it, but amazing entry. That's what's awesome about the hybrid ones, right? Because you can, when you get this big range created for you in pre-market, and you can just at the, even if we didn't break the low of day, it would have been a beautiful full trade. Even if it just continued to hold that broad range established in pre-market, we would have been golden.
And I just took a quarter at 170
Amazing.
on that next one. And those 676s we took are at
Oh.
263 now. And I had stragglers on those and I just moved those to 220.
Dang.
Mm.
265 from the original ones. Anyone still trailing the original ones?
I have stragglers. I don't have trailers. They got nabbed.
Psh, let's go.
Are you anyone else having like some weird lags on like the pricing and stuff on Weeble, or is it just
Yeah.
me?
Nope.
Like this is terrible.
Yeah, I
Like I
think
feel
that's
like I'm
why
in a, I
I
feel like
was
I'm in a
seeing.
guessing game with this.
Yeah, I think that's why I was seeing like 20 plus cents below the current price. Yeah, France, it happens. The one thing about trailers is no matter how good you get at them, it's impossible to be perfect. It's impossible to be perfect, and you don't need to make an exorbitant amount of money. You don't need to be perfect to make extraordinary sums of cash, right? And that's kind of the point that I want to get at. I've missed at this point 65 cents on trailers. I still had an amazing trade, and I'm super happy with how I did. You can never get it. You can't get it perfectly, and we can continue to learn. Like I got to start looking at the chart for this because and this kind of tells me more than any other experience that I need that chart for the options price to really see what sort of retracement I can withstand with where I'm trailing. Because it's more about that than kind of a cookie cutter 15 cents below when it's over $2. That's what I kind of do is 15 cents. And then the few times I've been able to trail beyond $3, I'll widen to like 30, 35 cents, 40 cents. But it's less about that and more so you got to read the chart, right?
Hmm. What morning? Holy smokes!
Jonathan tapped at six or made 6.7% on the account with that one. And you rock, man. Thank you. You rock, Jonathan. That's all you, brother.
And the mornings have been so fantastic lately. Afternoons, not so
Jerry,
much.
Jerry pushed by to trap.
What happened?
Jonathan says Jerry pushed Spy into traffic. Like when Jerry pushed the mugger into
Oh my God. I just took his
I might
knife
have
and
overreacted on that, man.
pushed him into traffic.
The knife is what
Oh
made me
my
do that.
God. Jerry, where was that? Peru, did he say?
Peru, yeah. I was in a
Yeah.
town called Juarez. I was on a climbing trip to go climb some of those bigger mountains in the Cordelia Blanca range.
Juarez, just like the Mexico City, the Ciudad.
Yeah,
Juarez?
yeah.
Oh,
There's like 50 cities in South America. Like that, I think. Maybe not 50, but you understand what I'm getting at.
Was it like fast moving traffic?
No, 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 no. It was not. It was not bad at all. There was no buses or nothing
a
like that.
freeway.
I mean, he got hit by like a little Honda Civic looking thing, and it barely nabbed him.
God, so
And then
funny.
the guy got out and was cussing at him in Spanish and cussing at me in Spanish. And I just disappeared into a bar.
I'll, ta- I'll take a shot of tequila.
I'm like, I got to get out of here. This is bad.
Oh,
It's not like I'm going to hide in Juarez, Peru or anything. It's like, 6'1", 200-pound white guy blending into a bunch of small Peruvians is impossible. So I figured if they were going to come and get me, I might as well have a cocktail before I leave.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nowhere else to go.
so funny. So interacting very nicely with yesterday's low of day. I guess it did sweep it. It
Yeah.
nearly went for this swing point down here. Couldn't quite get there. Let's see if we want to come back down there. I'm open to taking one more entry on puts, which will be sized down to protect something like 60% of my profit for the day. Miles up 8% on the account today. Let's go, brother.
Miles is crushing it, man.
How are you guys doing on the week with this performance for the day?
My week's
Has,
been exceptional.
has potential to be a record-breaking week.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, with what just happened this morning, then when Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday morning sessions, and then it's just been profit stacking since Tuesday.
Let's go, baby.
Not for the afternoons, I'll say that. I don't know, Andy, if you were watching price in the afternoon. I literally almost fell asleep in my chair. It was just sideways, 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 sideways. But the morning was incredible. And then Jerry's afternoon on Tuesday was as good as this morning and yesterday morning. But yeah. You're right, though. Monday kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop. And I think I got caught in a little bit of a bias. And
On Monday.
yeah, but we still made some good trades, with calls, but I just wasn't quite expecting that move up. But then again, the contracts, the implied volatility was high from, the news, but then it's, big distribution candles, but because the volatility was so high, the contracts didn't quite move as much as we thought they would. But anyway, yeah, it's been a exciting week for sure.
Amazing.
I had 680.74 marked from yesterday. I'm not convinced on calls quite yet, but we have two hard wick rejections on it from yesterday at 9:35 and then again at 9:55, and it's been interacting with it for the last 15 seconds and now finally above it. It could be a good calls all the way back up to pre-market low region, but I'm
Yeah.
not quite ready for calls yet. Just kind of There it is. Perfect. Maggie, you're at break even on the day, but up 5% for the week. Well done, Maggie. That's a really good weekly gain.
Yeah, that's awesome weekly growth. What else,
Yeah.
guys? Let's hear more.
Yeah.
I did a mock trade on this, guys. I didn't take it with any contracts, but you would have got filled at 162 to 164, immediately came up, goes right past the pre-market high. Contracts hit 176. You would have probably went risk free at 162 is where your fill was. You'd have probably went risk free about 170, 173, something like that, depending on your fill. And then it would have stopped you at break even just the way the contracts are moving on Webull. It looks like it would have stopped you. I can't say it 100% would have.
Jeff trading mostly afternoons this week, 2% size and conservative. Amazing. Amazing. Let's not forget that, if you're sizing at 10% of your overall account, in my mind, 2% is a great weekly goal. At 20% of the overall account, 4% is the weekly goal. So that's great, especially, just trading in the afternoon, sizing conservatively, amazing. Joshua, 11.1% on the week. Amazing. Aaron,
Oh,
27% on the week. Incredible, brother. That is just phenomenal. Phenomenal,
27% is
phenomenal.
absolutely insane.
Nick,
So much money.
7% on the week. Pat, 3.6%. Tim, 15.8% on the week. Congratulations, everyone. Guys, this is what it's all about for us and for you guys as well, just seeing each other winning. And for Jerry, Ryan, myself, for our entire backend team, for Joycey, for Hannah, for Selena, our enrollment team. It's just so incredible. This is what we live for, and we're so pumped. And let's keep going, right? Let's think about like what's gotten us here, what's gotten us these results. Because I'll tell you what, it's not sizing at 80, 90% of your overall account without a stop loss and hoping that you double or triple your account in one trade, right? That's not what's gotten you these results. Even if you're at something incredible like 27%, I would hope and I would think, that you're applying this level of discipline that you've learned here, and that's what's gotten you this level of success. And the way that you're going to continue to build beyond that is by doubling down on what's gotten you these results. It's not by straying from these principles. It's not by getting a bloated sense of confidence and thinking that you're better than the discipline required to see success, because we've all been there. We've all been there. And it's never the answer. It is never the answer. So nice retracement candles here and interacting beautifully with that pre-market low. I'd love to take puts below 680.83 if we get that. Jerry, you mocked this one right here.
I did. I mocked that one for
Nice.
calls, and it would have been a half off and break even according to my mocking of where your fills are at. But it would have been a half off and break even with about an 8% sell. And then
Got it.
it would have nabbed you at break even for sure.
Yep. Nick said down on the week, been a rough week for me. I hear you. And Nick, I'm sure there's other people in chat that aren't having as incredible weeks as what other people are sharing. So that is also helpful for people to hear. And another reason why community is valuable. Because I get it. And losing weeks happen. And if we can just try to take one or two things away to make micro improvements. Because going, if you guys have been in here for a little while and you know how to read price action, you know how to plot your own levels, you know how to gain conviction for entry, you're following disciplined risk management. It is not going to be wholesale changes that are going to take you from not profitable weeks, at least if they're on a consistent basis, to winning and profitable weeks. It is micro improvements. They're micro changes. We've discovered after years of working with beginners or even some intermediate traders that come in here, for the most part beginners though, that one of these biggest micro improvements is about sizing. And it has nothing to do with your ability to read price action. It has nothing to do with your ability to put in the stop loss in every trade, and it has everything to do with how you go about sizing. And a lot of that can have to do with confidence. For instance, if you start the week on a Monday going 0-2, and you then size down dramatically on Tuesday out of fear and a bit of a lack of confidence, I do these monthly group calls for folks that have access to, we call it Elite Trader, and they get a monthly group call with me. And there was a woman in there, an incredible woman, who was talking about how she's just like on this crazy losing streak. She's been mostly trading futures in the yacht club, but she she'd like passed a few evaluations. She had gotten one payout, but she had like passed a bunch. She had passed 5 evals in the month of February and like blew 3 of them that week when she was talking to me. She was like, I don't know if I should keep trying to trade the other 2 evals that I've passed because I'm on this crazy losing streak. And she kept saying crazy losing streak, crazy losing streak. So I said, define that losing streak for me. Like, what's happened? And she's like, I'm 2-4 in my last 6 trades. Right? So she's like all of a sudden, like literally not wanting to trade, not wanting to even engage because she's convinced that she's on this crazy losing streak. Right? And I think a lot of times we can start the week 0-2 or 1-3 and be like, oh my God, like what do I do? Do I stop trading? Do I size down dramatically until I've gotten my win rate back? Right? And we can sort of fool ourselves by being so in the weeds and so zoomed in. I do like calls here, guys.
Yep.
So I'm gonna look to take calls on a firm close above 681.57. And once again, I love this with 70 seconds left after trading well above it. We just got back below it, battling to stay above it. It's not going to take a whole lot, right? Yeah, above it, it's firm. So let's get these calls pulled up and ready to go. I'm going to take the 686s. Guys, I am sizing down from 20% to right around 7%. Doesn't look like we're going to get it. Anything can happen, but significant flush there. I'm going to size at like 7% of my overall account. That will protect around 67, depending on my exact stop. Well more than half of the profit that I've earned today. And probably actually, unless I have like a 20% stop, it'll be like 75% of the profit from today. All right, those calls are pulled up. 686 calls for March 6th. We need about a 20-cent move to the upside. So staying away here.
Yeah, Andy, in my 3 years of being here, both observing as one of the community members, then as like coach, and then as a trader, I can think of maybe 5 to 10 times where on a Monday, we've taken 2 stop outs, and either there's been massive comments in the chat, or to me, like the system isn't working anymore. We we gotta do. I think we need to reevaluate the entire system, and I'm talking
Uh-huh.
like two stop outs in a row, and I think part of that might be um, people being new. Sometimes people do catch a streak where they they hop on a Wednesday afternoon and they get stopped out, and then the next Monday morning, and it feels like 4 stop outs in a row or 5, and then they try something different, and it almost kind of defies logic in the sense that they're talking to people who have done this for years with the system and modify it. But I get it. I think that um, especially when it's your money and your viability and your own experience and emotions, your mind can tell you all kinds of things. Like that 2 and 4 crazy losing is really funny because it's funny in the sense that it's sounds ridiculous, but it's funny because it also can feel very real to some people. You know what I mean? So that's a good story. Um,
Someone mentioned earlier, which was a great observation, in addition to Jerry's mock trade, as we were like pushing off of this. Let me find it so I can give you credit. You said this is exactly where we started pushing yesterday, right? Like yesterday we got this steep flush down and then just as soon as we touched that 679.66 and failed to close below it, just a straight line up. So, you can't just buy calls as we touch it. You wait for the confirmation, and though it's assertive and though it's aggressive, if you had the conviction for entry, it's an amazing entry right here, and I see the thesis.
Yeah, I've been mock trading. Ryan knows this. I've been mock trading a lot of these quote unquote reversal entries on one candle above a level that we would have took our puts into, right? So like, for example, like if it closes back below above that 680.83, and even though it's only one candle, although that's retracing, typically it'll retrace back up into that pre-market zone of that 681.57. And if it's enough to get risk-free, then that you can ride a retracement into the reversal or the change of structure back up the other direction. And I've been mock trading that a lot, just trying to find some more setups.
And that was Jed who said we shot up from here yesterday. Very nice, Todd. Big bias and execution mistakes this morning was down 8%. And then those last 2 trades brought me back still 5.5% on the week. It's another important point. Like I mentioned earlier, you can make mistakes and you can be far from perfect and still crush it. Right. So let's not beat ourselves up for not being perfect. Perfect isn't the goal. Perfect isn't anywhere what we need to be immensely successful. You guys like calls here if we close above that 682.52?
82, 52 now.
The thing that maybe you have something tighter here at 682.70 or 69. I had put this in a little while ago at something like 50.
I do a 62 as overarching, and it didn't quite tap it, so we could push higher.
I'm not taking,
Yeah.
yeah, I needed above what I have here.
Yeah.
All right, team. Any other comments? Any other points of discussion?
Now, Andy, great trades though, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm still trying to figure out. I'm not really trying to figure out. I'm trying to sort out the problem with my Weeble, or if it's just mine, or if it's my internet still. Because I've been having some really like struggling with execution lately. But it's like I'm pressing buttons and nothing's happening, or options are different prices on the options chain to what I'm getting filled at. It's really interesting. Like, and it's been consistent now for about 8 or 9 trading days. And the afternoons seem to be a lot cleaner than the mornings. But
Yep.
I can't wrap my head
Or
around what's causing it.
Andy, was there something that gave you a little bit of an extra feel that you had a really good grasp on a rate of price this morning? I mean, you always do, but there's something felt, is there something that gave you a little bit of extra, like I kind of see what's going on here? Every once in a while, I feel like you've got just a grasp on it. And today was one of those days.
Uh, you know what? Like overall, it wasn't like I felt like when we have something like this, and the only thing that made this tricky was how much this entry candle distributed. But this is so much cleaner and clearer to me than this. But what was helpful was, this baseline level of support here. What was helpful is the broad range that we did make to where the hybrid level was very valid. Um, and what was also helpful was all the times where we weren't tricked. Like we were never tricked. Everything here was obvious to stay away. Like we weren't tricked here, we weren't tricked here. And then bang, right after two immediate confirmations of this level, which also had prior confirmations throughout pre-market. Right. So like I had this level prior because it was ever so important yesterday. And maybe that was awesome and really helpful for
Mm.
us too, right? Like the same hybrid level was this incredibly clear level that I just talked about from yesterday. And it right before the entry told us, yes, yes, this is significant, this is significant. Um, did we have any sort of certainty that we were going to go for the low of day and break it? No, I thought we had incredibly high probability to go risk free, and that was it. And it wasn't the craziest draw in the world. Um, I think it was 50-50 beyond this. But it was a good entry. Um, but we had no control over the outcome, right? We never do.
What signaled to me that you had it was your exit on your first trade when you sold at the absolute top of that
Which was
candle.
which was lucky. I wish
I
I
don't know if
wish
it was. I felt like that's I'm like he's on it. But it yeah, that was so um
I mean, you're going to call it luck, but if you look where your crosshairs are,
yeah, I
it's
don't
like
think it
literally
was
at the
luck.
top of the early parts of the swing point. It's at the low parts of that. I thought that was like absolutely perfect execution, like from trading the chart to the left. Like
Yeah.
you can't expect it unless it just rushes through it like a freight train. You have to expect it's going to have interactions with that support and resistance from the swing points to the left.
yeah.
So
Yeah. And I didn't take it on like the first attempt up there, and you have to have this balance where you're sticking to your 8 to 10% target, and I'll have to see exactly what it was. I think it was like 12 cents on an entry that was in the 160s. So yeah, I don't know. It's probably 6 or 7%. It was not what I needed. So I didn't sell on the first attempt, but then there becomes this balance where rule number one is to not lose money, right? That's Warren Buffett said. Rule number one is to not lose money. Rule number two is to not forget rule number one. And so we always need to be prioritizing risk mitigation and just like reducing risk, taking it off the table. But that needs to be balanced with not having this desire and taking action on the desire to just sell early. So again, big difference in the terminology we use. It is not selling early, it's taking risk off the table when we see that we're not breaching a particular price level on the second or third attempt. Um, so there you have it. Guys, so happy to see the amazing success. Let's keep pushing, let's keep going, and we'll see you in the afternoon.
That was good. Andy,
Alrighty,
great
guys.
session.
Yeah.
Ryan,
care, everyone.
awesome work, man.
Let's go.
See you guys.